The Epstein thing. I think that this is a hoisted on your own petard. I don't think it's a big value situation because I never believed any of the conspiratorial talk. But the president is not well served by the people around him on this one. I don't think he really cares about Epstein one way or the other, and I don't believe there's anything in the files that kills him. But the people around him botched this, Bill, because they fed all these people this conspiracy fodder about this, and then Bondi 1 minute says it's on her desk, the next minute there's nothing to it. Kash Patel and Bongino, who made such a market in the conspiracy, all of a sudden say it's not true.
Especially
Bongino. Terrible look
Bongino.
for the administration. What's your take?
Well, I think President Trump could correct it anytime he wants to correct it. And that's the question is, I don't know why he doesn't. So all you got to do is say to the Attorney General, you're going to hold a press conference. You're going to tell him generally what we've learned about the Epstein case in a very methodical way. You'll answer some questions. You're not to mention any names because that could destroy people. I talked to President Trump man to man, eye to eye, on St. Patrick's Day about this and the Kennedy files and the King files. It was all one conversation. And he said, and I agree, there are a lot of names associated with Epstein that had nothing to do with Epstein's conduct. They maybe had lunch with him or maybe had some correspondence for one thing or another. If that name gets out, those people are destroyed. Because there's not going to be any context. Media doesn't care about context. So you can't do that. You can't destroy human beings by putting out the files, whatever they may be. But you certainly can have Attorney General Bondi say, this is what we know. And, you know, we're going to protect the innocent. And he's a heinous individual. In that press conference, sitting next to Pam Bondi, should be Merrick Garland, the Attorney General and Joe Biden, who had this material for 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Biden had it. Yeah, you don't hear that from the left, do you? No.
No, listen,
Now,
what you do here, which I agree with, is if Merrick Garland had stuff on Trump that's in there, he would have given it to him. Now, I have to say something. There's a point of clarification. Oh, 100%. But there's a point of clarification here. People are going to hear your explanation, and they may think, oh, yeah, he wants to protect all his buddies because they were scumbags who were in the... No, that's not the point. It's the opposite point. I don't believe there is a client list. I think Bondi made a mistake when she suggested they had a client list. I don't think Epstein had anything like that. I think they have videos where he is doing disgusting things with people, but they're none of the people that people are headhunting for. And the other point is something that people will never give the president credit for, maybe me among them. But there is no client list. And if you put people's names out, they are going to sue the government and they are going to win. Because they are going to show that the government had reason to know that there was nothing felonious in their relationship with Epstein. And they put out information that was defamatory anyway. And that's the reason not to do it. You're going to ruin people's lives who had nothing to do with the behavior. But when people hear it, it sounds like a cover-up.
Trump and I were talking about unintended consequences, not legalities. And I agree with him, but this is not a difficult thing to do, shouldn't be anyway, for Ms. Bondi. And then you could find Merrick Garland's probably at a Club Med somewhere in the Caribbean, just get him out. And
he won't come on, but it's a good point.
Now, you made a couple of mistakes earlier that I'm going to correct in a gentle way, because that's, of course, who I am. Number one, I don't have any buddies to protect, so anybody who would say that would be totally insane. Number two, we have seen this kind of hatred on the left before, and it happened during the Vietnam War. That you had a radical element in the Democratic Party that was supporting the Black Panthers, for example, that were calling for murder. You had Jane Fonda sitting on an anti-aircraft gun in North Vietnam while the war was going on. That's about as extreme as you get. So this has happened before. But I don't believe that most Democrats buy into this at all. I think Murphy is irresponsible in Connecticut. I think he's a loon. I don't respect him at all. Swalwell, I do respect. I don't think he's a loon. I think he understands what's happening. But remember this, Cuomo. You get headlines by being the bomb thrower. That gets you attention. But this has happened before in our history. There's no doubt about it. But now we're in a position where the Trump administration is winning. That may end tomorrow, but it's winning. Got the big bill, got the Iranian diminishment, it's winning. And that is driving people insane on the left.
Look, I think there is a part of that. I just think that there are a lot of opportunities for Democrats to show that they would have better remedies for what is pissing people off about affordability
but do you
and
think
other
most
inequities in
Democrats,
this society. The
I
real
don't,
ones
I don't
did.
believe most
Bill, my father
Democrats
did.
Yeah, but your father's not the Democrat of today, buddy. Unfortunately.
Trump is
all right, we're done.
responsible for the
They made exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, you can't put a bunch of random names out there and assume there's not going to be massive legal repercussions afterwards. Okay? And that is the reality. You put names out there, there's no actual hardcore evidence that these people are what you are assuming that they are. They will sue the federal government and win. So, and at the end of the day, we pay the federal government to exist. So it is so negligent for people to be saying what they're saying when the repercussions are going to backfire heavily on us, the taxpayers. And that's how I see it. I may not be a Jew, but I am a Jew at heart, and money to me matters. So I don't want to have to pay out the federal government because the federal government wanted to listen to the mob and put out a bunch of names, assuming that all these names are guilty of disgusting things with minors connected to Epstein. That's where I'm at. You tell me what you think in the comments.